Tonight on CTV News.
Hopefully that'll get the word out on the issues and get these guys held accountable.
Facebook petition to expel 3 CSU football players tells us the reason he created it.
And how social media develops as a platform for protest.
Produced for students, by students. For Channel 11, this is CTV News.
Welcome to CTV News this Wednesday night. I'm Dylan Thomas.
And I'm Hannah Tran. Some new developments have come out of Florida concerning the Trayvon Martin case that has captivated the country and the world. George Zimmerman is in custody. He's charged with second-degree murder after he shot 17-year-old Trayvon Martin almost 2 months ago. Zimmerman followed Martin, who was unarmed, through his neighborhood based off of his own suspicions. We will keep you updated as the case unfolds.
Thanks, Hannah, for that update. And with all the recent talk about the assault that happened Friday night against 4 CSU freshmen, it further shows the evolution of how people voice their opinions. So we took a look into some of these changes.
In the 1960s, long before social technology, Americans took to the street in protest, using their physical presence in hopes of their voice being heard.
Redress is sought in the streets, in demonstrations, parades, and protests.
As the black and white papers have left, the true color of public opinion can now go viral. For example, the recent incident at Colorado State University when football players allegedly assaulted fellow students. The assault has sparked a movement on Facebook where over 1,000 students have called for the expulsion of the players, using social media to be heard.
I think what social media has allowed people to do is to start their own grassroots movements much easier and much quicker, and with, again, a bunch of people that they trust. And so that's what has allowed all these social movements to kind of start up, and it's given every single individual a voice.
I mean, it's clear that social media sites give people a great venue to share their thoughts, share their concerns, find other people who have those same concerns, collect signatures in some cases. What can happen in a situation is really governed by the Student Code of Conduct, and that doesn't have things that say, and if it's really important on Facebook, it's also really important to the student conduct. Student conduct stands on its own as a process that is designed for coming to a fair and just conclusion.
No matter the outcome, students want a decision, and social media is where they are voicing themselves.
With the petition site getting a lot of attention online, we spoke to the creator of the page to get his opinion of the impact this event has had.
Don't ever be afraid to stand up for what you believe in, and there's always going to be somebody out there that shares your same passion and that is going to back you up when the issues matter. And that's the biggest thing, you know. Don't ever be afraid to stick up for yourself, and people try to join what their friends believe in, you know, because everybody kind of shares similar ideologies with their friends, you know. That's why you're friends. So it's kind of like when you see, you know, 20, 30 of your best friends joining this group, you're going to want to go join as well.
President Tony Frank sent out an email earlier this evening talking about how he really wants the due process situation to go through, and he wants everybody to go through the legal system before the CSU body jumps to any conclusions.
And it's a really emotional topic, and it's going to be interesting to see how student and state policy plays into this. It's obviously going to take some time.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, coming up after the break, has CSU chosen a new basketball coach? Sports anchor Scott Houston will be here to let us know.
And how air pollution is affecting your everyday life. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
2 outs with a runner on first base. Now the big guy comes up at that, hitting .342 with 92 RBIs and 36 homers. First pitch is fouled.
Chill raw and prepared foods promptly. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
7,000 students drop out every school day. That's a line of desks more than 4 miles long. Keep students in school. Visit boostup.org and take the first step.
The man who was shoved by Fort Collins police officers last month is threatening to sue over what he is calling a civil rights violation. Matt Hefferon was cited for criminal mischief and obstruction after Officer Dan Callahan shoved him without being provoked. This was all caught on video by Hefferon's friend Josh Kulip. After the Fort Collins chief of police saw this clip, an internal investigation was launched, and it's still ongoing.
The on-campus stadium has taken another step forward. CSU has hired an architectural firm to consult on possible designs for the stadium. The international firm called Populous will help design the stadium so a formal recommendation can be made to CSU's president Tony Frank. Populous has designed more than 80 projects for U.S. colleges and universities, including an on-campus stadium for the University of Minnesota. And it's really great to see that the stadium evolution is going on. And it also sounds like some CSU athletics are also progressing as well.
That's true, that's true. We have a report, just a report as of right now, but it is looking like CSU has found their new basketball head coach, Larry Eustace from Southern Mississippi. Earlier today, Andy Katz from ESPN reported that Eustace will be the new head coach for CSU, which has also been reported by multiple sources. This comes as a bit of a surprise since on Tuesday night, former head coach of the University of Oregon, Ernie Kent, was reported as being the candidate of choice. Eustace, the possible new coach, was even at CSU a few months ago. I know, misleading, I apologize. An outstanding coach at Southern Mississippi. They played the Rams at Moby this year and handed us our only loss in Fort Collins of the season. Coming in at 56 years old, Eustace has had a great run at Southern Mississippi, bringing them from 14th place in the conference in 2004 to second. He made it into the Elite Eight with Iowa State before he was with Southern Miss, and even brought Utah State to the NCAA conference back in the late 90s. However, Eustace has had a bit of a past. He was suspended from his job at Iowa State for violating moral clauses in his contract, namely partying with students, which led him to resigning his job at Iowa State and admitting himself into rehab for alcoholism. But it also should be noted, since his hiring at Southern Miss in 2004, Eustace had 0 reported incidents like this. Not only that, Eustace returned a contract bonus at the end of the season at Southern Miss because he said he felt like he hadn't earned it. Seems like this might be the right guy for the job, but it should also be taken into consideration when we reach to CSU Public Relations. They could neither confirm nor deny the report. So, Dylan, technically it is still a report, not confirmed by the university, but it is being reported by several news stations. So, looking like this might be our man, but we still have to wait and see.
You know, and the one source you can never completely rely on, as your teachers will always tell you, is Wikipedia. But we did look into Wikipedia, and they're actually already claiming that CSU has hired Eustace as the next head coach.
Well, as we know about the internet, anything written on it is probably true, right? It's the internet. Exactly. It has to be true.
All right, thanks, Scott.
Yep.
All right, thank you guys. If you were traveling through the plaza today, then you probably saw the anti-abortion protesters and their monolith-sized display. Yes, it's that time of year again when the anti-abortion protesters come to campus and erect their 18-foot tall signs depicting graphic images of unborn babies and fetuses. We decided not to air those images, but here are some of the pictures from the event. It was originally started as a conduit for open discussion of the abortion issue. And every 20 seconds, one person dies from indoor air pollution in this world. This pollution can come from using biomass for stoves to cook food, like wood. Nearly 3 billion people in the world use biomass for cooking. On North College, the Engines and Energy Conversion Lab is a place where some students are working on new stoves to make the smoke a little bit less intense and a bit more clean.
Some stoves burn more fuel than necessary. It's a daily concern for these students.
So we work on improved cook stoves for the developing world because it's a really high impact problem because it affects over 3 billion people who are cooking with wood or agricultural waste or dung. There are approximately 2 million deaths per year.
2 million deaths from indoor air pollution. The more smoke, the more carbon monoxide, a respiratory danger and a leading killer in the developing world.
So we try to build stoves that burn fuel more efficiently and use less fuel, which is better for the customer.
Better because there's less time finding fuel like wood or dung, and less fuel is less smoke and less harm.
And imagine if you can make every stove twice as efficient as it was before. The amount of fuel, time, money you save is just astronomical.
The pots are sunk.
Combustion chambers in these stoves burn the flame at a higher temperature. It's more of a complete flame, burning cleaner and more efficiently.
It's a lot different than a class project, you know. It's real world stuff, and real companies and real people end up using the things that we do. So
after a stove is tested and cleared, it will travel to one of 45 countries like India, Africa, or Central or South America.
And it's cool to see it have developed from just an idea all the way to a product now that's being sold in Africa. So it's pretty exciting.
And just to take note, the lab is where prototypes or models of stoves are created. The successful models are then given to a company called EnviroFit, who mass produces the stoves for the students.
All right, well, coming up after the break, 2 massive earthquakes sent tsunami warnings throughout countries all along the rim of the Indian Ocean.
And the weather changed here in Fort Collins. Weather anchor Kari Pills will tell us if it will last.
Really? Buzz, what's up, man? You left some leaves burning out here.
Yeah, I just came in just for a second.
Come on, man. If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. You could torch the whole neighborhood.
It's a good point there, Smokey.
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
If you're looking for a new pet, consider adopting from a shelter. Shelters are full of healthy and loving pets, eager to become a part of your family. To find out more, you can visit theshelterpetproject.org.
On Wednesday morning, 2 massive earthquakes off the coast of Indonesia triggered back-to-back tsunami warnings, which sent panic-stricken residents to higher ground. Luckily, the quakes did not cause any deadly waves or serious damage. Here in Colorado, we saw some raindrops coming down just before the show. We now take it to Kari Pills to give us our weather update. Kari?
That's right, Dylan. But before we talk about that, as summer is nearing and the weather is getting warmer, outdoor activities are becoming more popular. The Poudre River is one of Fort Collins' biggest attractions, and despite the lack of moisture we've had this year so far, rafting companies are optimistic about this year's river flow. They are reporting that people are still calling in interested in rafting this summer. The sport usually starts around May 15th, but it could start a few days earlier because of those high temperatures we've experienced so far. And moving on, we start off tonight with some severe weather from Denver. A funnel cloud was spotted off Tower Road and 38th Street, so make sure to take proper cover and be prepared for a wet evening. Now this morning in Fort Collins, we woke up to a lot of cloud cover, wet sidewalks and fog around the state. But around noon today, that fog had lifted and temperatures reached a warm 73 degrees, although it took a while. We had about 60% humidity, which fueled the possibility of those thunderstorms that is hitting parts of the state right now. This gradual temperature increase throughout the day made the atmosphere much more vulnerable to these storms. Now, as you can see, most of the state has a chance of thunderstorms into this evening, especially in the middle portion of the state. Now, we could see thunderstorms and even some thunder snow in the foothills if temperatures dip that low. Now, let's take a look at your 7-day forecast. Friday and Saturday, we'll see more chances for thunderstorms and temperatures in the 40s and 50s. Sunday, we have a larger chance for snow and rain mix. Monday will be partly sunny with highs in the upper 50s. Tuesday, expect to see sunny skies and those temperatures back up into the mid-60s. Well, that's all the time we have left for tonight, but be sure to tune in tomorrow night at 8 right here on Channel 11. Have a great night.
Colorado State University, but is produced by an independent nonprofit corporation using the name CTV pursuant to a license granted by CSU.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.